Hello and welcome to my unboxing and first look at another Ork character. This time I'm unboxing the Orks Weirdboy, the main Psycho unit, HQ unit for Orks. One of these will cost you £15, and just look at the number of sprues and things you get in this kit. Fantastic. So let's unwrap it in the way that I've always been told to unwrap these boxes, which is just like that. Then you can kind of get into it, but no, let's just use a blade, otherwise why did I bring it with me? Got some penetrating power there. So it comes in one of these, generic Citadel front panels for the blister pack, and it's a shame you don't get any instructions or any artwork or a picture of what it looks like. But then again, in order to have purchased him, you would have had to have found that out and seen what he looks like on the Games ORKshop store. It comes with a 40mm base, so a Terminator base, and 3 sprues of fine cast. If you don't know what fine cast is by now, I can explain. It's a type of resin, but it's soft, and it was a replacement, a much better, cheaper replacement to metal. They used the metal sculpts to kind of make these fine cast minis, because obviously the price of tin went through the roof, and this was a quick, cost-effective way of producing miniatures, one-off miniatures, rather than making the big metal injection molds that cost hundreds of thousands of pounds. But this is the Weirdboy himself, and it comes with a Gretchen that is sort of attached to him by a chain. I think there's another one that goes by, but he's got a bit of a six-pack going on there. There's a fair amount of detail. There's veins in his muscles and all the rest of it. Typically you do get a bit more detail than plastic, but it does vary from model to model. But that's his body. Here you've got 2 Gretchen, just stud, and his face. It looks like one of his eyes is bulbous, trying to contain all of that green psychic energy within. So yeah, a couple of Gretchen there. I mean, maybe you could use them on their own. And then finally you get his sort of Weirdboy staff. It looks like it's crooked. And these are some hands, and that's his arm, and then that's his leg, I think. So might have to bend that staff into place, or maybe it's meant to be like that, not quite sure. But there you go, that's the Weirdboy in those 3 sprues. And welcome to part 2 of my Weirdboy unboxing and review. I'll just show you some of the details of the miniature and go through how difficult, easy it was to put together. It wasn't too difficult in the grand scheme of things. There were some challenges with all of these grots or Gretchen at the back. Believe it or not, there are 3 of them, which are completely hidden from the miniature. Like, you look at the miniature there, you think, okay, right, you've got a grot there, yanking his chain, keeping him in check and things, and you've got this big kind of face and like this eyeball popping out where he's, delved into the warp or something, I don't know, with the energies. But then you turn the model round and you've actually got 2 other Gretchen holding him down. They were a bit of a pain to get, to get level, these 2, and then to get the chain correct. This Gretchen, absolutely fine, and the staff as well, fine, but these 2, yeah, bit of a pain to get right. He's got a fair amount of detail. There's a lot of cleanup involved in all the little gaps, because it's fine cast, obviously. Would be nice to see an updated miniature. We're getting an updated Snickrot, so probably we'll get an updated Weirdboy. Maybe that Weirdboy was kind of the little bit of an upgrade that we got with the kill rig, but I still think Games ORKshop have it in them to release a plastic, Psycho for Orks. So no spare parts. Let me just go through the size comparisons. Because I've got the big mech with force field there. He's bigger than a big mech with a force field. Is he bigger than Snickrot? Yeah, kind of. Just because of the pose, though, rather than the chunkiness. Snickrot is very chunky orc, but Badrock is definitely bigger than the Weirdboy by a big chunk as well. So if you were gonna pick up these miniatures before they all disappear, then that's where the sizes are. Compared to a normal orc, I think the Weirdboy goes pretty well with normal orcs. You know, as an HQ, they can all scurry around him, and some Gretchen and things. He does stand out as an HQ choice. I want to whip out my knob and show you it right here. It's bigger. You know, my mega armored knob is bigger than the Weirdboy. I think the Weirdboy is kind of normal, so that's how big he is. And then the final comparison, just with Ghazghkull, really. Ghazghkull's the biggest, baddest orc, isn't he? And there he is, next to a Weirdboy. I think all these characters go quite well around Ghazghkull as supporting characters. I think they work. Final little comparisons I want to make, just with the usual miniatures that I make here, which is a normal Space Marine right here. Space Marine is very similar in height. Probably say the Weirdboy is a little bit taller, but Primaris definitely bigger. So if you're up against some Primaris, your normal orcs and a Weirdboy, if you're not taking any Death Dreads and Killer Cans and things, going to be taller than your orc force. And Slime Marbo is, yeah, probably chin height on the Weirdboy. So yeah. So in the last part of my video, I will be going through all of the rules for the Ork Weirdboy. You'll find him in your HQ section as a power points cost of 4 and a points cost of 70 points. Coincidentally, he's just the same number of points as a Werboy, which is actually a few pages further away than the Weirdboy. So the stat line reads: movement of 5 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 5+, strength, toughness and wounds are all 5, 3 attacks, leadership 6 and a save of 6+. Now that is exactly the same stat line as a Werboy. So the Weirdboy is equipped with a Weirdboy staff. It's a melee weapon, strength +3, so that's a strength of a power fist right there, strength 8, AP -1 and a damage of D3. That's a little bit different than what the Weirdboy is equipped with. He's equipped with a ranged weapon, 12 inches, it's assault 2, strength 6, AP -3, damage D3. In terms of which one to pick, if you want a short ranged weapon with a high AP, get the Weirdboy. If you want a high strength weapon but melee, pick the Weirdboy. But of course, you're not picking these two models for their abilities in combat. You're picking them up for their psychic powers, and I'll talk about them in a moment. So abilities, here we go. And War energy. While there are 20 or more orc models, excluding Gretchen, within 12 inches of this model can attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power in your psychic phase. Wow, so an additional psychic power. And that's the same ability that the Weirdboy also has. Psyker. This model can attempt to manifest 1 psychic power in your psychic phase and attempt to deny 1 psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase. It knows Smite and 2 psychic powers from the Power of War discipline, which is exactly the same as the Weirdboy. Keywords: Orcs, Character, Infantry, Psyker and Weirdboy. It's important for me just to go through the psychic powers, but they are as follows. So the Power of the War discipline. 1. Edbanger. It's a Witchfire psychic power and has a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of this psyker and roll 1d6. If the result is higher than the selected unit's toughness characteristic, that unit suffers d6 mortal wounds. No more than 1 model can be destroyed as a result of these mortal wounds. Number 2, Warpath. It's a blessing psychic power, has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 friendly clan, corps or clan character unit that is within 18 inches of this psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of models in that unit. 3, the jump. It's a blessing. If manifested, select 1 friendly core unit that is within 12 inches of this psyker, remove that unit from the battlefield and set them up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from the enemy models. 4, Fists of Gork. It's a blessing, It has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Orks character model that is within 12 inches of this psyker and visible to them. Until the start of your next psychic phase, add 2 to that model's strength and attacks characteristics. If the result of the psychic test was 11 or more, add 3 to that model's strength and characteristics instead. 5. The Crunch. It's a Witchfire psychic power and has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit that is within 18 inches of this psyker. Roll 1d6 for each enemy for each model in that unit. For each roll of 6, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If the result of the psychic test was 9 or more, add 1 to rolls when resolving this psychic power. And 6, Jabbing Fingers. It's a malediction, has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit that is within 18 inches of this psyker and visible to them. Until the start of your next psychic phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from that attack's hit roll. So they're all of the psychic powers for the Weirdboy, and of course also for the Whirlboy. So they're all the psychic powers for the Weirdboy. The Whirlboy has the Beast Head discipline. So, you know, it might be worth picking both of the psychers to really give yourself, you know, as many psychic powers as possible. But then you are taking up 2 HQ slots in the force organisation chart. What do you guys think of the Weirdboy? Do you think that we are due an upgraded plastic version of this model, like some of the other characters? And what do you think of the rules? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in those comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. For Gork and Mork.